What's up guys, welcome to Fortress of Solitude. Today I will be doing a video breakdown on the new Rogue One story trailer. So let's not waste any time and let's get right into it. First up, we see the new planet Jeddah, a type of desert moon that is in a state of permanent winter. We don't really know a lot about this planet besides that it is one of the first civilizations to explore the nature of the Force and the spiritual side of the Force. It holds some type of value to the Imperials since they heavily fortifying it with troops, and we see later on in the trailer Star Destroyers and everything. So I imagine there's something there that they want, maybe Kyber crystals to power the Death Star's laser, or some type of thing to do with the Force that the Emperor wants to get his hands on. We don't really know, but we see our characters go there later on in the trailer looking for something or recruiting people. We're not really too sure what their deal is on this planet, but I'm really excited to find out what this planet holds for us. Next up, we see Felicity Jones as the character Jyn Erso. We don't really know a lot about her, besides that she's had some trouble with both the Imperials and the Rebellion in the past, and that her father is integral to the design of the Death Star and what the Death Star's function is. Her father, played by Mads Mikkelsen, is named, I think, Galen Erso. We don't actually see him in this trailer, but apparently he was in the Star Wars Celebration trailer, and I'm really excited to find out what his character holds and what her character holds going forward. And obviously we don't know a lot about what's going to happen with these characters at the end. Some might die, some might survive and appear in cartoons or in later movies, later anthology movies, but it's really exciting to find out what happens to these. And on that note, we move over to another character who first appeared actually in the Star Wars Clone Wars series. He is Saw Gerrera, here played by Forrest Whitaker, veteran actor, an actor I really enjoy seeing playing characters, playing specifically he's like a character actor basically. Liked a lot of his work and everything, so I'm excited to see what he's going to bring to a character who, I think this is the first character who's made the jump from animation to movies. So I guess you could count General Grievous, though the short that was made before Revenge of the Sith came out was made in conjunction with that movie and sort of made as a setup to him, and that technically doesn't count in canon anymore. But yeah, I'm really excited to see what this guy is going to bring to the Rogue One troop of people. I don't think he's going to survive for some reason. I think he's going to be sort of like the Obi-Wan Kenobi of this movie, and he's going to sacrifice himself so the others can escape or get away from the Imperials on Jeddah, because I believe he is on Jeddah. The same sort of buildings and everything all look the same, and I imagine he's there sort of waging a war against the Imperials like he did during the Clone Wars on Onderon. So I'm really excited to see how his character has evolved from that Clone Wars when he was just like kind of like a kid, like a young guy, whereas now he looks all seasoned. He's got this big battle armor and everything, so I'm really excited to see where Forrest takes this character. Next up, we see a Star Destroyer hanging over a city in Jeddah. This is the first time we've actually seen an Imperial Star Destroyer in the atmosphere of a planet. We've seen ones from the Clone Wars inside of planetary atmospheres, but we haven't seen one from the Imperials. So it's really cool that they're doing these kind of new shots and everything, and you know, they're sort of embedding the old stuff with the new stuff. It's all familiar looking stuff, but it's in new and exciting situations. Next up, we get a look at Diego Luna's character, Captain Cassian Andor. As the trailer goes on, we find out Cassian is quite an accomplished Alliance intelligence officer who sort of is a recruiter for the Alliance, and he's recruited a fair amount of people. I guess he's sort of going to be kind of like the leader of this small team of what I'm going to be calling Rogue Group from now on. I guess he's the one sort of responsible for knowing all these different team members and then going and getting them, sort of keeping an eye on Jyn as well, since she's known to be a bit of a troublemaker. So I'm really excited to see Diego as a Star Wars character. I've seen him in a couple of movies, but nothing really as big as this. The last movie I think I saw him in was Elysium, and he died halfway through. So it's going to be interesting to see how he plays this character, whether he's going to play it a little bit more like Han Solo, or he's going to be a bit more uptight and more formal as sort of like a military guy. Going to be really interesting to see what he does with the character. Next up, we see more more of that Yavin 4 war room scene we saw in the first trailer with Mon Mothma, again played by the woman who played her in episode 3. I think her name is Genevieve O'Reilly. She played her in a scene that actually got deleted, which was sort of the setting up of the Rebel Alliance. So it's kind of cool that they're sort of bringing her back. And as I said in my other breakdown of the first trailer, it's really great that they're sort of digging through the deleted scenes and reusing actors. And we also found out that Bail Organa, Jimmy Smits, is coming back as well for this movie. So it's nice little connections to the prequels that don't leave a bad taste in people's mouths. Also in the background of that scene, we see Jan Dudonna, who was in episode 4, and he's the guy with the big beard who's sort of leading the Death Star briefing room scene near the end of A New Hope. So nice little touches here and there, and the place where they're in is actually at the end of A New Hope as well, where Princess Leia and the droids are. So it's really cool to see that set again being remade in like modern times with modern set constructions and everything, and it looked perfect. It looks absolutely amazing. Next up, we get some amazing shots of Star Destroyers in the shadow of the partially completed Death Star as the laser is being lowered into position. What I really like about this, and I said this in my other breakdown, I'm going to say it again, is how much these look like the models that were used in the original Star Wars trilogy. They look absolutely incredible. Like the way they've done, they're all CGI as well. The CGI supervisor John Knoll confirmed it, that they're all CGI, but the way they've done it, they look absolutely amazing. The way the light hits it on that side makes it look like a model, and it's just amazing what they've been able to do with this technology that ILM have been pushing and everything ever since being founded for Star Wars, basically. So I'm really excited to see more of these, especially in the coming movies that we have, like just what they would be able to do with the current technology that they weren't able to do with the models in front of the blue screen and everything. So I think we're in for some really great space battles coming up. Next up, we get a look at a new Rebel Alliance fighter called the U-Wing. Now, apparently this is some type of troop transport, pretty much akin to like the ones that you see in like World War II, like the ones that swim over into the shore and then dump all the troops off that you see at the start of Saving Private Ryan and everything. That's what this is, and apparently it is really well armed and does this really cool thing with its wings where they swing forward and act as sort of like blades as it flies through the air. I'm really looking forward to seeing this ship, especially since we've seen set photos of parts of this ship as a set on fire, and obviously it crashes on the planet Scarif. So it's going to be really interesting to see this ship, and it seems to be the ship that the Rogue Group uses sort of like their mode of transport or their base of operations or something, because we see it throughout this trailer being piloted by Cassian and Jyn. So I'm really looking forward to seeing all these new different ships. We're also getting some new ships from the Imperial side. I think one called a TIE Striker, which is this like sort of flat wing design TIE. Looks really cool and kind of makes me beg the question, like, where was this in episode 4? And I guess it's probably going to be like a prototype or like one that's used by special forces or something. So I'm really excited to see all these new ships that are going to be coming out of these movies. Next up, we get some shots of Wen Jiang as Baze Malbis on some type of rainy, dark canyon planet, and we actually hear him talk as well about how the Imperials destroyed their home and he now fights the Imperials, and he looks to be like one of my favorite characters, and I haven't even seen the movie yet, and I think he's going to surprise a lot of people since this is sort of like his first English speaking role. He's had a couple here and there, but this is sort of like his big break into Western movies since he's a big star over in I think China. He's done a bunch of movies over there. I'm really looking forward to this character. We've heard him being talked about as a sort of heavy weapons specialist, some type of like demolition guy, and he's got this massive big gun that requires a generator on his back and everything. He's also friends with Donnie Yen's character Chirrut Imwe, who is a spiritual follower of the Force. He studies the Force's aspects of spirituality and calmness and all that sort of stuff. He's not an actual Force user, as a lot of people seem to sort of apply, because he can do some type of martial arts and because he's blind as well, and he's just a follower of the Force. And he, as he says in the trailer, all is as the Force wills it. So I'm really excited for these two characters. I think they're going to be like the breakout stars of this movie. Next up, we see Donnie Yen kicking some stormtrooper ass. As I said before, I'm really excited to see what his character of Chirrut will bring to Star Wars, especially since everyone seemed to have thought he was a Jedi to begin with. Even I thought he was a Jedi, but they're going in a different direction, as this movie won't actually have any Jedi in it. It'll have a certain Dark Lord, which I'll talk about a little later on. It won't actually have any Jedi on the Rebel side to sort of help them out of anything. These are just normal, everyday grunts, really, that can't really do much against the guy with a lightsaber and the Force. So I'm really excited to see what Donnie Yen's gonna do in Star Wars. I can't wait to see his martial arts skills in action. I really love like IP Man and stuff like that he's been in, so I'm really excited to see him kicking some ass in this movie. Next up, we meet K2SO, the character played by Alan Tudyk, who is apparently a reprogrammed Imperial security droid who is now under the command of Cassian Andor. Yeah, I'm really excited to see Alan Tudyk in a Star Wars movie. What more could I say? It's really great. You know, he's played some really fantastic characters over the year in stuff like Dollhouse and obviously Firefly. And we actually hear his character talk in this and sort of say stuff like what a HK-47 from the Old Republic games would say, like, I won't kill you because Master Andor says so, and, you know, stuff like that. I'm really excited to see what this droid is going to do. Also, I don't know whether it's like an Easter egg or whether something's going to happen to this droid a little later on, but the armor the droid has on him, the casing on his chest and everything, is the exact same casings that Dengar has on his armor. When we see Dengar, the bounty hunter, in that bounty hunter scene in Empire Strikes Back. So obviously it could be the same type of armor, and you know, the guy who wants to connect everything inside of me is saying like, no, Dengar kills K2 and takes his armor and everything, but I know that's not going to happen. But I'm excited at the possibilities of these characters appearing in other things and being referenced in other things. Also, the CGI, which I assume is unfinished, still looks really amazing in this. The droid looks incredible as a fully CGI creation, which is really intriguing that they went that way, considering they've done stuff like C-3PO as a guy in a suit. Obviously, it'd be a bit too hard to do K2 as a guy in a suit since he has like really thin limbs and a thin midriff and everything, and thin head. Yeah, it's really intriguing. They've really stepped up the mark on the animation and the CGI and everything in this movie, so I'm really excited. Next up, we get some absolutely amazing shots of the Death Star hovering over Jeddah as it covers the sun and creates an eclipse. And I just want to take a moment to just talk about the guy who does the cinematography for this. It's a guy named Greg Fraser, and he's an Australian, so he holds something a little bit dear to my heart. And this looks like it's going to be a really well shot Star Wars film. And nothing against Force Awakens, that had some amazing scenes, but it was shot very basic, very by the book and kind of traditional, whereas this one looks like it's going to be shaking up some stuff. Like, we see the Death Star, we don't see it in its normal upright position with the laser on the top, we see it with the laser on the bottom, which means this is a shot that's sort of been done upside down, with where the planet's sort of above the Death Star. So there's all sorts of really cool stuff like that, and obviously there's scenes later on with like a TIE fighter coming up in front of Jin that look amazing and everything, and just the way the characters are shot, it doesn't look like a Star Wars film, it looks like a war film. So I think they've definitely got the themes of these movies down pat. Next up, we get a look at Ben Mendelsohn as director Orson Krennic. I'm really looking forward to Ben Mendelsohn as a villain. He plays a really great villain on a Netflix show called Bloodlines, which I suggest everyone check out. Also, the guy's Australian, so that's really cool that we're actually getting out there and being villains and heroes and shooting these amazing films and everything, and I can't wait to see what this guy's deal is, and I think it's going to be definitely expanded in some other films, at least like his branch of the Imperial Security Bureau, and I'm intrigued to see what his role in the creation and implementation of the Death Star is. Like, what exactly did he bring to the table? Because, I mean, if he was sort of like the commander of the ship, he would have been in there in episode 4 and everything. Though that's not saying that he could have died. He could be dead by the end of this film. We don't really know. But I'm intrigued to find out more about this character. I hope he doesn't die, because Ben Mendelsohn is an amazing actor, and I'd love to see more of him in a Star Wars film, especially in a villain role. Next up, we get a look at Riz Ahmed's character. We don't really know a lot about his character besides he was or is a Imperial transport driver. He's a pilot. His name is Bodi Rook. He's sort of the team's pilot a little bit, and I'm intrigued to find out what his character is. We haven't really seen a lot of him, which kind of makes me think of Slipknot in the Suicide Squad trailers. Like, is he going to be the first to die? Is he the one who's going to maybe be captured and killed or sacrificed himself for the team or something? Really intrigued by his character. Next, we get a look at the AT-ACT, a larger version of the AT-AT that we've seen in The Empire Strikes Back and other Star Wars films. And yeah, these just look like normal AT-ATs, except they have these big kind of door looking things on the side of them, and I assume they're probably more heavily armored, since at the end of this trailer we see Baze fire a rocket at it and it really doesn't do much to it besides make it move its head to the side. So I'm really excited to see these guys in new CGI, with current technologies on a beach planet, and how the rebels are going to deal with them and try and take them out. I imagine they're going to have some X-Wings or something come in and try and blast them up or something. Really excited to see that battle going down. Next, we get like a really small clip of scenes that actually go together in, I guess, the sequence of the film. Really intrigued me, and that is we see Cassian's U-Wing being piloted through what I believe a planet being destroyed, or something destroying some big part of a planet. Now, my theory is that this is Jeddah. With the Death Star looming over above, Director Krennic decides to give the weapon a test, and in doing so blows up Jeddah, and as the planet is exploding and, I guess, destabilizing, Jin and Cassian, as well as the others, I guess, make it off the planet by going to hyperspeed while still in the atmosphere. Now, this is something we've actually seen before in The Force Awakens, so maybe that was like a little setup for this, since we saw Han take the Millennium Falcon into lightspeed from the inside of a hangar, as well as come out of hyperspace inside a planet's atmosphere. So it's possible that you could go to hyperspace inside a planet's atmosphere instead of coming into one from it. If that is the case, it's definitely going to be a real cool scene to watch happen. My other theory of it is that this is like the end of the movie. The planet they're on is Alderaan. This will sort of add a bit more weight to Alderaan exploding in A New Hope, where we have our characters who are maybe hiding out there as well, and it's just sort of a coincidence that the Death Star shows up and decides to blow up the planet, and this is them sort of escaping, and maybe they do and maybe they don't. It probably isn't. It's probably my first theory a bit more, and that would lead to like an amazing set piece with this planet being destroyed all around them, and they've got to go to hyperspace immediately and just end up somewhere. But yeah, really excited to see what that scene exactly was, because it looks really, really cool. After the lightspeed scene, we get a bunch of scenes set on Scarif, the world where apparently the Death Star plans are being kept. It's a tropical world that apparently would look nice, except for the massive base that's there that's holding these plans. And we get some really cool shots of Jin on top of what appears to be this massive spire climbing towards something before a TIE fighter raises up in front of her, and it looks so cool. And I'm intrigued to see who's in that TIE fighter, whether it's a friend or an enemy, and I have a theory that it might be K2, and maybe he's aiding them at escaping, and this is their way off the installation in a TIE fighter, because we do see, and we saw it in the last trailer, Jin in a TIE fighter pilot outfit for some reason. We're not sure why, and maybe this might be like her escape, but she goes up to a Star Destroyer or something and sort of hides out or something. Really intriguing, and we get a really cool sort of group shot of the characters in the whole of the U-Wing, and Jin's obviously about to give them some type of speech. Yeah, it was cool seeing all like the little characters, and there's also a lot of soldiers there as well, and I guess they're part of the bigger rogue group of these people that have come to fight on Scarif. But the big part of this trailer that I'm pretty sure everyone was hanging on for is right at the end. We get a glimpse, like a 1 second glimpse of Darth Vader from behind, from the back of his helmet. He's looking at some type of red readout, and we hear him sort of breathe, but not the full breathe. We see him sort of breathe out. And yeah, I'm really excited to see his role in this movie and what exactly it is. And I think he's going to be the overseer of the Death Star as it's being constructed, or finalized construction, and these guys are going to be coming in to try and steal the plans, and he's like, right, well, I like, can't have any of this, and he sort of comes and tries to stop them as they try to steal their plans. And I'm really hoping for like a scene where they're all running away and Vader's just slowly walking after them with his lightsaber, and he's like kills a bunch of them with the Force and everything. And there were some rumors where he actually is on Scarif and actually ends up fighting a bunch of the rebels on Scarif, and like using the Force to pull them into his lightsaber and stuff like that. Stuff we haven't actually seen live action Vader do. So I'm really intrigued, especially since it is going to be a new Vader, like it's going to be someone new in the costume. There's obviously James Earl Jones voicing the character, but it's going to be someone new in the costume, and with all these new techniques of like costuming and CGI and everything, I think we're going to get a really cool looking Vader, one that's like the one in the comics at the moment. I'm really intrigued to see what his role in this film is going to be. Well, that's it for the trailer. It was a damn good trailer. It's got me really excited for this, more than I was before, and I was pretty excited before, but this one really put me over the edge, and we're only a couple of months away, I think about 4 months away from it. We're going to be getting more trailers and TV spots coming up soon as the marketing cycle starts to kick in, so expect to hear more from me here on Fortress of Solitude. Hey everyone, thanks so much for watching my latest video. Hope you enjoyed it. While you're here, why not check out another one of my reviews, like and subscribe my channel for more reviews and videos, and follow me on Twitter at Matt_FOS. Thanks guys, and I will see you all next time.